Welcome to tonight's episode of Pivotal Change. I am your host, Ryan Kahn from CS Business Consulting, and Pivotal Change is a show about exactly that, finding the tips, the tricks, the techniques, anything that can help you develop your leadership, your influence, and get you to make that one or two things needed for the pivotal change to where you find success. Now, if you've been watching the show before, you may notice that I'm someplace different. I have a different background. I'm currently traveling through North Carolina, and the rest of the show will be filmed on location when I arrive. But I wanted to get this kicked off so that I can bring on the guest and talk about several things that have recently happened in this country. We're going to be talking about insurance. We're going to talk about catastrophe and crisis and preparing and a lot of the leadership principles that go along with those things, all the way down to some of the technical details of how to make sure you don't lose coverage and put yourself in a bad spot. But in order to do that, I want to bring up a topic from my 5 positions of leadership, and I want to talk specifically about leading out front. Now, leading out front is different than, of course, leading from on top or from behind or alongside or on bottom. And leading out front is something that needs to be utilized in various situations and in various ways. So I want to spend the next 10 minutes or so talking about some of those ways that you should be as a leader looking to lead out front, when, how, and where. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that in times of crisis, you, the leader, are visible. That means not just shining in the spotlight on television or on Instagram or something like that, but you're leading visibly amongst the troops, amongst your subordinates and other leaders in the rank and file. In order to do that and be visible, you have to be present. So you can't just be absent and try to make decisions from on high or from afar. You need to be present. And again, we understand that in the modern world, some people work literally a world apart on the other side of the globe, but the regular meetings, the regular FaceTimes and Zooms or whatever it may be, you need to be as present as possible. So the crisis that we've been seeing as I'm driving through North Carolina, the disasters from Helene, and then we have the Hurricane Milton that just hit in Florida, and this is a catastrophic time for many people. So in order to remain out front during this turmoil, you want to be able to present yourself in a calming way. You want to have your influence be of steadfastness. You want people to look at you and say, hey, he's calm, she's breathing, she's in control, he's not freaking out, emotions are dialed in, and that way you can help guide the way forward and capture people's attention who may be stuck in panic. Now, not every single crisis is a hurricane. Sometimes it's a financial crisis. Perhaps you have maybe the death of somebody that's associated with your ranks, family members, a staff member, something like that. Sometimes the crisis is emotional. There might be something terrifying or scary that happened, and you need to step out and make sure that you're visible and ready to take those challenges head on. After all, as the leader, the buck stops with you, and you're the one that's supposed to be providing the path forward through driving the vision, getting people rallied around the vision. So I want to provide an example from history, and hopefully everyone's fairly familiar with Winston Churchill and what he did during World War II. Not only his speeches and his bravado in making sure that he made his claims and followed up with his claims, but during that he was highly visible. He made sure that he was making public appearances very often, and he was reinforcing confidence among the citizens, among the troops, and among the global people of influence. This kind of leadership fosters trust and it fosters courage within your teams and those you influence. Another thing that's very important is that a leader will have to lead out front in times of criticism. When there is some type of attack, criticism, slandering, blasting, major complaints, the leader needs to step forward and they need to come out and be able to make these decisions underneath the criticism. They need to be able to not let them truly get to them and get under their skin, so to speak, but you need to be able to say that, hey, we're all stakeholders here and I'm going to lead out front. I'm going to own my mistakes if we've made them, and that's where the criticism is coming from, or as a company, we've made mistakes or errors. We're going to own them. We're going to take actions to correct them and make people whole. We're going to go ahead and take responsibility. And we're going to, instead of shifting blame, we're going to own it, move forward, and make ourselves better and make the people that were affected negatively as whole as possible.